Morning, everyone. Hooty Hoot of the Sports Daily Podcast. I don't know if any of you have ever listened or watched my podcast before, but since 2020, the podcast, which originally was just talking sports and having a lot of fun, pivoted after the unaliving of George Floyd. There have been a lot of things that have transpired since then, a lot of layers. And I don't know if you all have been experiencing the same things that I have recently with regards to Taylor Swift coming across your feed in ways that I've never seen before. Not just because she's been in Paris and Australia and doing her Eras tour, but maybe it's because of the algorithm and the things that I typically like on Instagram in particular. But I saw a post this morning that a former WNBA player posted about her recent encounter with Tom Brady. And I have been very outspoken about Tom's silence since the unaliving of George Floyd. And first, let's just establish the fact that when it comes to Taylor Swift, quick story time. So my daughter asked me to go to a Taylor Swift concert probably about a year ago. And she said the tickets were about $1,500. Now, obviously, we've all known about Taylor Swift, and more recently, she has taken things to a whole new level because of the NFL and her dating Travis Kelce and some other things that have come back into the forefront that remind us of how magical and special she is. But my knee-jerk reaction was no way. There's no way that I would ever pay $1,500 for a ticket to anything unless the Detroit Lions were in the Super Bowl. Pretty serious about that. You know, when you only got one kid, you only got one chance. So I felt like I had a responsibility, just like in the case of Snapchat, which I have had a hard line in the sand, a big no when it comes to Snapchat and my kid. Felt like I had a responsibility to do some homework with regards to Taylor Swift. So I did. So I did a deep dive into Taylor Swift. And some of the things that I uncovered, I either forgot about it or I didn't realize it. And as an ally with this platform, even though it's small, we'll probably get 100 people that may see this. I feel like I owed it to not only my daughter, I thought it was going to be later if I was going to lose it. Anyways, not only did I feel like I owed it to my daughter to do a deep dive with Taylor Swift. Jesus Christ. I feel like I'm speaking at a funeral. But all the women out there, to all the women who have ever been involved in any DV situations, from girls to adults to young adults. So I did. So I did a deep dive into Taylor Swift. I didn't even necessarily like her music. I mean, it was okay. It was trendy, but what she's had to overcome, and I'm going to talk about a few of these things. And for those of you that don't know who this is, as a sidebar, let me digress for a second and get my life together. Colin Kaepernick played in the NFL. He took his team to a Super Bowl. He kneeled. He was the first player to kneel, not the first in sports ever to protest social injustice or police brutality, but he was the first in the NFL to kneel. And he has been whiteballed ever since. And so when I saw that post this morning from a former WNBA player referencing Tom Brady, and I'm going to try and bring this home as much as I can, I thought about a lot of things. And I felt like I had a responsibility to once again, as I have done over 100 times probably on my podcast, share my opinions about not only Tom Brady, but the other white quarterbacks in the NFL and their continued silence when it comes to Colin Kaepernick. So back to Taylor Swift. So after I did a deep dive into Taylor Swift and finding out more about her, about Swiftonomics, and what she does for the cities that she performs in, and what she has done for the industry, and what she has done for all the little girls out there that parents can't often do, that teachers can't often do, that coaches can't often do, that the court systems can't often do, that their families can't often do. Nobody. And I've never been a big idolization person. I'm going to talk a little bit more about that in a second here. Tom Brady was one of those guys. Man, I love Tom Brady. Before 2016. So fair to say, after I did my homework on Taylor Swift and I learned all the things that I could in a short period of time, because Taylor Swift was coming to Los Angeles. And everyone and their mother literally wanted to go to a Taylor Swift concert in SoFi Stadium, including my daughter. So I thought about it, and I basically said, if you want to go and we can find tickets, no matter how much they are, I'm good with it. So it turns out that we ended up getting 2 tickets because a friend couldn't go, but I would have paid the $1,500 for each ticket or whatever it would have been. I know there's people that have paid way more. There are people that have gone to her concerts overseas. More people have gone overseas to watch her than will go to the Olympics from the United States. But I want to talk about Taylor Swift in terms of how she's leveraged her platform, how she has overcome what happened to her with regards to Kanye West and her sexual assault trial, where she sued a former DJ who sexually assaulted her for $1, a symbolic $1. So like I said earlier, I don't know if this has been the case with all of you or it's just me because of the way that I navigate Instagram in particular, but Taylor Swift has been all over my feed. Like, all over it. And I could listen to her all day. Just like when I watch all those inspirational American Idol tryouts or America's Got Talent, I literally live for those things. And personally speaking, the reason I coach and have coached for 33 years, and the reason I love people like Taylor Swift, besides what I just talked about, is because of the magic that she brings. Not her as an idol, not necessarily because of her music, but the magnitude of her impact in society. Like, I basically was raised by women. My two aunts, I had 6 dads, but none of them were ever around. 2 of them unalive themselves. So there's that part. So I was basically raised by my mom. Grandfather played a big role, my grandmother, my 2 aunts, so a lot of women. So I've always had a soft spot for women and just sort of seeing the world through maybe a different lens than maybe some other boys. I can't even imagine how hard it must be to be a woman and someone living in the black and brown community still today. Even though social media has been the best thing that has ever happened to women and the black and brown community. And so that leads me to my point that I was trying to make today about Colin Kaepernick and the reference to Tom Brady that the WNBA player made when I woke up this morning. And I just thought to myself, man, Tom Brady's not Taylor Swift. But the power of one person and what he could have done for this guy and what he could still do for this guy, he's done none of it. And he's not alone. Aaron Rodgers, Peyton Manning, Eli Manning, Tony Romo, Troy Aikman, Aaron Rodgers, none of them have done anything to stand up for their fellow quarterback who could still play in the NFL. He's still good enough to play in the NFL. And Tom Brady has done nothing. He's done nothing. Taylor Swift has shown more courage for girls, for women, to talk about one of the most difficult things you could ever talk about publicly, about being sexually assaulted. And she gets the praise that she deserves. Maybe people don't like that she's involved with the NFL and it's too much and it was enough already. But man, what she's overcome from a mental health standpoint, what she's overcome with Kanye, what she's overcome with the sexual assault, and how she's leveraged her platform. And Tom Brady and Aaron Rodgers and Peyton Manning and Eli Manning, Troy Aikman, Tony Romo, all those motherfuckers. They don't say shit. They don't say one thing. They haven't said one thing since George Floyd. Nothing. Do you know how hard it is for him to probably wake up every day? Do you know how hard it is for Bruce Maxwell to wake up every day? The first Major League Baseball player to kneel? Who's been playing in Mexico because he's been whiteballed by Major League Baseball? Do you know how hard it must be still to be a female in this society and someone in the black and brown community. So, I wonder, now this is a long shot, but I wonder if Tom would wear or any of his fellow white quarterbacks would wear a Justice for Tyree Nichols shirt. Do you even know who Tyree Nichols is, Tom? Who was unalived by Memphis police because of the color of his skin. Would you wear this shirt, Tom? Now, a lot of people don't like to speak out about certain things because, they got a brand. But Tom's been getting a pass for a long time, just like Brett Favre and the disgusting and appalling things that he did to defraud people from getting state funding for basic needs. These guys don't have to do one thing. I've been saying this all along. Does Tom and Aaron and Peyton and Eli and Tony and Troy or Jim Nance, does anybody have to say anything? No. Should they use their white privilege and their platforms to stand up for guys like Colin Kaepernick? I'm sure Tom would wear a Taylor Swift shirt. I'm sure he would. Would he wear a Mahmoud Abdul Rauf shirt? Hey, Tom, Peyton, Eli, Tony, Troy, or Aaron, would you wear a Mahmoud Abdul Rauf shirt? Do you know who he is? He was white-balled by the NBA. Still has never received an apology from the late David Stern or Adam Silver. Would you wear a Mahmoud Abdul Rauf shirt, Tom, or any of you others? So I can't for the life of me understand me when I look at a Caitlin Clark who didn't ask for the mantle, who is doing more for girls and boys out there. When Taylor Swift, who did ask for it with her music and her platform, but what she's doing to leverage her platform is the same thing that Tom and Aaron and Peyton and Eli and Tony and Troy and any of the other white quarterbacks could have done for Colin and could still do it. And where is Jim Harbaugh? If I were Jim Harbaugh, I would tell management, we either bring Colin Kaepernick in or I resign. That is how you leverage your platform. So you're going to bring Colin Kaepernick into the University of Michigan, where you won a national championship, to talk to your guys. But up to this point, you're not going to bring Colin Kaepernick in to training camp? You're not going to leverage of all the people. You want to talk about pro-life, Jim? You want to talk about how you'll take all the babies? But are you going to give him a chance? Are you going to leverage your platform to give him a chance? Now, I know for a fact that Tom wouldn't wear this shirt. Hey, Tom, would you wear a Malcolm X shirt? Probably not. At what point do not only the Tom Bradys, but the NFL quarterbacks stand up and say, until Colin Kaepernick, and in Major League Baseball, if I were a Major League Baseball player, I don't care if I would have waited 13 years for my first ever start in Major League Baseball, I would refuse to play. I would do something, have a sit-in. I would do something to protest the fact that Bruce Maxwell has been white-balled by Major League Baseball and that Colin Kaepernick has been white-balled by the NFL. Tom, would you wear this shirt? No, but Tom, you'll complain about your workouts. What about your bad business deals? What about defrauding people of millions of dollars with your crypto endeavors? And I do feel bad for his kids if his kids were impacted by the dinner that he went to where he was roasted about his marriages. But what about your marriages, Tom? Look, some of these things everyday people like me have to go through. But at what point are you going to leverage your platform? Because, you know, you and all your fellow white brother quarterbacks have talked about this one. You've talked about mental health. That's easy. What Taylor Swift talks about publicly, what she does to stand up to all of those people out there, like the ones that she talked about recently all over social media, reminding us about how courageous and how amazing she truly is. Tom, you could have the same impact with regards to this in particular, but you haven't done it. And neither have the other white quarterbacks. I'm sure you'd wear this shirt too, Tom. I'm sure you'd wear this shirt as a part owner of a WNBA team and as a part owner of an NFL team. I'm sure you'd wear that shirt, wouldn't you? That wouldn't be hard to wear. I'm sure you'd wear this one too. Maybe. I'm sure you'd wear a mental health shirt. But you know what, Tom? I may not have the platform that you have, but I can tell you this. I'm not going to be silent. It's bigger than ball, Tom. It's bigger than ball. And unlike you, many of us speak up and dribble. And I'm absolutely bothered. Shout out to Jamel Hill for this shirt. I'm absolutely bothered by you and all of the cowards, especially in the space of the white quarterbacks, who continue to refuse to speak out. And leverage your platform. But you know the one shirt that you should wear, Tom? And I'll leave y'all with this. This is the shirt you should wear, Tom. Privilege is when you think something isn't a problem because it doesn't affect you personally. And that's you, Tom, and Aaron, and Tony, and Troy, and Peyton, and Eli, and all of the other white quarterbacks who have not spoken out in a similar way every day about Colin Kaepernick, because he deserves better. Bruce Maxwell deserves better. Think about what Taylor Swift has been doing, not just with her music, but with her platform. And it's not too late. Tom, Aaron, Peyton, Eli, Tony, Troy, Jim Harbaugh, Jim Nantz, and anybody else in a space that has a platform to be able to leverage it to advocate for the Colin Kaepernicks, for the Craig Hodgeses, for the Mahmoud Abdul Raufs, and the Bruce Maxwells. This is Hootie Hoot. This has been a special edition of the Sports Daily Podcast. Appreciate you tapping in. Much love. Peace. Now go do the right thing.